Hello and welcome to React Native Bootcamp. So in this bootcamp, you will learn everything you need to know about modern JavaScript, about React, writing React code, and finally, writing React Native apps that will work for both iOS and Android. So one code base will work for both platforms, so you will be able to deploy the same application in two different platforms, for iOS, for iPhone, and for other Android devices. You can deploy this app to Google Play at the same time with the same code base. So that is the magic of React Native. And basically you will be writing JavaScript, React code. So if you know React, you will be very comfortable. If not, don't worry, I will be including a separate section for modern JavaScript and also React. So if you're coming from any other programming language, even then you'll feel pretty comfortable following this bootcamp. So I've been working with React for many years, but about 2 years ago I started playing with React Native, and in the beginning it wasn't easy, to be honest, because even though it's React code, you'll be writing React code, there are so many different ways of doing things. For example, to design your application for the layout, it's not easy like using Bootstrap in the front end for web apps. You have to pretty much write your own CSS code, unless you use some other frameworks available for React Native as well, but they will just make it more complicated. So that doesn't really help at the end, because there are a few frameworks like Native Base and React Paper. Their framework like Bootstrap, however, it's quite different, and you will be writing a lot of code for very little output, and over time, if you want to customize, it gets really difficult. So I really don't recommend using those frameworks. I recommend you write your own CSS for layout and styling. That way you get full control on how to build the apps, and this knowledge will stay with you forever. Basically, React Native is used as a front end, right? You still need the back end, you still need your server, you still need your database and all that. So instead of the web app, you will be writing mobile apps. So once you learn to write your own CSS and style your application, that knowledge will stay with you forever. So anytime different types of application you have to build, you know how to go ahead. But if you learn to use some other frameworks like Native Base, maybe in 6 months, 1 year, they will change the documentation. You have to go and start all over. It just wastes a lot of time. All right, so we'll be focusing on that. And then most importantly, I will show you how you can build a real project and learn everything step by step. So I will be giving you so much information that you can use to build almost any kinds of application, but they will come one after the other. We go into the workflow of building a real application, and when you're building a real application, you come across so many different situations. For example, how do you style your header? How do you style your footer icons or footer menu? And how do you organize the protected pages? For example, login and register page, and once the user logs in, how do you protect those pages, right? So authentication and allowing the users to create, read, delete, doing all that kind of a thing. Image uploads, sending the data to backend, saving in the database, retrieving from the backend, all that stuff. All that things you do in a full stack application. When you're building a non-stack app, it's going to be quite similar. The only difference is, instead of the web app, you are building a mobile app. So it will run on the mobile device. That is the only difference. And there are a few other differences, obviously, which we will go through the course step by step. Okay, so I just want you to be patient and go with the course, because I'm not going to go through the very basics in the beginning and then slowly introduce other features. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to a journey where you will be building a real application. So when you think about building a real application, first you think about having login and register pages, and once user logs in, maybe you will allow him to do certain things, and you will need to style the application. You need to have some menu icons in the menu section in the header, maybe some other menu section in the footer. Most of the mobile applications, that's how they design the app, right? So you want to do all that. You want to learn how to lay out, and so many little things that are essentials for building mobile apps. So I will be covering pretty much everything, but you have to go with the course Some topics might come in the very beginning. Some topics, even though they might be simple, but they might come towards the very end of the course. However, so many things have been covered into this course, so be patient and go from the beginning to end, and I guarantee you will be extremely comfortable building any kinds of mobile apps once you complete this course.